Hi everyone, and welcome to our webcast, Producing with Quality, the Nidec Global Appliances Story. My name is Leah Federiconi, and I will be your moderator for today's webcast. Today's presenters are Sherson Haizi, Marcos Casado from Nidec Global Appliance, and Mark Lobo from PTC. Today's webinar key themes are sustainability throughout innovation, decreased time to market, global R&D team integration, improved traceability leading to increased efficiency, differentiation through a portfolio that delivers efficiency, reduces lifecycle impact, superior quality and reliability, and lastly, delivering energy-efficient solutions and reducing environmental impact. Today's presenters are first Marcos Casado. Marcos is a Digital Transformation Director at Nidec Global Appliance. Since December 2019, he has been responsible for implementation of new technology strategies to support the business and drive the creation of new value streams. The executive joined Embraco in 2015 as a senior manager, and in 2016 was promoted to director of the IT area. He graduated in electrical engineering from the University of São Paulo, USP, has a master's in systems engineering, mathematical and simulation models from USP, and an MBA from Getúlio Vargas Foundation. Next is Sherson Haizi. Sherson is an R&D senior manager at Nidec Global Appliance since 2016. He's been responsible for R&D corporate PMO and the home appliances projects for new product development and implementation. The executive joined Embraco in 2003, leading project teams in IT and finance areas before joining the R&D organization. With more than 25 years of experience in project management, he graduated in business administration from Joinville Region University, has specialization in production engineering from UDESC, and organizational behavior from UNICEP, and PMP certification. Lastly, our third and final speaker is Mark Lobo. Mark is the VP of PLM Product Management PTC. Mark is responsible for leading product strategy and product management for the PLM portfolio, and that includes Windchill, CreoView, and quality solutions at PTC. And now, I'd like to hand it off to our first speaker, Marcos Casado. Marcos, take it away.
Thank you, Leah, for the nice introduction. First of all, I'd like to thank you, PTC, for the invitation to be here with you today, sharing our journey, our experience in implementing PLM solution. Before going to the actual development of the project, I'll be talking a bit about Nidec and specifically Nidec GA. That's where our company is. So for you that do not know, we are a part of a big group that is Nidec, with more than 100,000 employees globally. And we are a division that is mainly producing compressors and cooling solutions, motors for washer and machines, and HVAC solutions for households mainly. We have more than 14,000 employees spread all over the world in 8 different countries, 11 factories and 6 R&D centers, sales offices, and 1 business center that is located in Slovakia and helping us to support our business globally. Looking at the map here, you can see that we are really a global multicultural company spread all over the world, with the benefits and the complexities of it. Differently from many multi-country companies, we are working really in a global way, sharing resources and sharing projects and doing in a very integrated way. So this complexity and this being such a big company and diverse led us to some complex business situations and scenarios that we had to face to thrive as a company. This scenario led us to the perception that we would need to have some differentiation in the market regarding development of products tools. And the market was telling us a few things that I'm highlighting here. So the first thing that we were seeing and realizing is that the complexity of developing a product in a global scenario like ours was really huge. So we had many tools, different tools, lack of full standardization, global standard to be followed. We have more than 40 product families, each one with more than 1,000 configurations. So all this multiple manufacturing that I told you before, and multiple markets that we need to manage and to try. So complexity was one of the first, what I'm calling now market drivers for us. The second one I'm highlighting here is the speed. So I mean that in order to thrive in this industry, we need to be fast and agile. We're talking here about an industry that has some idle capacity. So the pressure for cost and for fast response to customers is really high to differentiate ourselves to them. So we are looking for some way to improve that and to be faster to our customers. The third point here is regulations. So this cooling market, as you're following the trends, probably are following the trends, is really susceptible to the regulations of sustainability and green actions of the governments. So we are seeing changes in the types of refrigerant gases that we are using in the cooling. We are seeing restrictions about efficiency on energy. So all these things are really increasing and speeding up, and we need to be able to be developing products with the speed to comply with these requirements. And the last and not at least, but also important, is the integration. As I told you, we have various R&D and engineering facilities in the globe, and these teams were kind of mandatorily having to be working together faster way, more integrated, with synergies and with more reducing mainly the time to market of their solutions. So working closely, real integrated, not just as a group of teammates, but actually as a team developing products was one of the main opportunities that we are seeing regarding the product development. So in order to, though this is the problem, this is what we are seeing, and in order to advance with the topics, we partnered with PTC on the solution we're providing for PLM together with them to develop and evolve into a program and a strategy to implement and to tackle all these points here. So I'll be focusing a little bit more on the infrastructure and technology side of it, and then we can later, my colleague Gerson will be explaining more about the engineering side. But what we did was, if you look at the image, I'm showing here a complex scenario that we have diverse databases before 2017, diverse distributed tools that were working locally. Although we had some standards and we are following process, we're lacking a single point of truth, a single point of documentation, a single point of sharing resources that was kind of pushing us or holding us back to go to the next step, to be faster and to be more agile. Then in this 5-year journey, we followed a few steps, and that was the approach we did, a phased approach. We are able to deliver or to implement a full solution, use it globally with a single instance and repository and governance space for all related documentation with development of products and management of the life cycle of the product. This is mainly, or at the beginning, mainly targeted for engineering and R&D, but now this is used for other and touch also other areas. So we are seeing a huge benefit on having this single point of contact, single point of repository for all the tools, all the actions we have regarding the development. It's important to highlight that it's not just implementing the tool. So the change management and the full movement in the company was really a huge effort. So we changed it and used the tool, but also together with PTC, we came up with a plan and with a holistic view how to actually to improve the way we were managing our life cycle of products. So besides the tool itself, we were able to attack also two things that were crucial for the project to be successful. Was the governance that was really evolved and advanced with the tool. So again, Gerson will be talking a bit more about that, but there's one of the pillars, and the other one is having really truly global standards, even with the naming of the parts and having the same approach globally. And so this was also a key pillar of the project. Then we were able, below those, because those are the ones, the pillars, one of the most important things was that we achieved also compliance of the processes globally with all the process. We were able to reuse documentation, so rework was avoided. So we avoided a lot of efforts in redoing what already was done. The documents were now organized by structure, so finding them is much easier. And we are able also to control the history. That's mainly the idea of the PLM system, obviously, to control history. But now it's a true global perspective that we have looking on this, on the things that are in the tool. And all of that led us to the accelerate lead time to deliver projects and products. That's the main goal at the end of the full project. So in a nutshell, PLM system is where all information is connected in one single place, reliable, that we're able, everyone that needs to be in any time zone, in anywhere in the world, is able to get to consult, to check, to see what's there, and to use the tool. So with that, this is the IT technology part of it. I'll pass for my colleague Gerson that will be talking a bit more about the engineering and R&D aspect of the project.
Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's well during this difficult period of time that we are facing up. For me, it's a pleasure to be here to share a little bit about our journey of PLM inside Nidec Global Appliances. If you can go to the next slide, please. Okay, as Casado already mentioned, our footprint is spread around the globe, and so is also our R&D organization. So our R&D structure is decentralized. So there are engineers working in all of our 7 locations in the six countries that we are. So we are talking about more than 400 engineering working in more than 1,000 of projects all over those units, working in these 14 families of products that we have. So based on that, there are a lot of common problems of integration, and that was not different in our organization. Now we have a lot of challenges how to make sure that all those teams are working together and working in the same level of information. If the information must be reliable, make sure that everybody know what to do inside their projects regarding what are deliverables, what they need to do, the way that they need to do, what are the standards, and so on. So before that, we have several tools, several platforms, and then back in 2015, we decided to start the PLM project. The decision on that time was we had to choose between two strategies. One was the, let's say, the most common strategy on that time, that was, okay, let's implement in one country all the tool and then roll out that to the other countries. But we took a different decision. We decided to go by waves, globally, but by waves. In this way, we were able to already start to implement and collect the benefits of each of our waves, and using each wave to consolidate and spread out the technology in all the plants. It was difficult because imagine to run a project at the same time in 6 different countries, different language, different countries. But that at the end, we find out that was the right decisions. We were able to the right decision. We were able to implement the whole PLM and the RNG and all the process of RNG in around 4 years. That was a very short period for us, and the whole one since the first process of R&D until the integration with the SAP, so the complete framework of the PLM. Together with that, that was the time that we not only implemented the tool, but also established the governance of the R&D. So we define what are the process, what are going to be the process on that moment, and we already defined that and implemented that in the tool. So in this way, we could combine the process and the tool in the same moment. For sure, it has increased a lot the complexity of the implementation. But again, it was the right decision, because in this way, we create a unified communication and a unified tool among all our teams. In this way, we can have faster decisions, faster actions, reduce the miscommunication problems, and so on. And at the end, this is a key for us to have faster projects. Okay. Yeah, and somebody can tell us, okay, but PLM was an isolate action. No, it was part of our continuous improvement plan that we have at Nidec. So we already started several years before with the first big wave of implementation, that was the implementation of the AKP, not only at the engineer department, but in the whole organization. So for those ones that are not familiar, AKP is the Advanced Planning of Quality Products. So it's the tool and the process that help us to improve our quality in the company. And it starts in the project development, in the product development, in the early stages of the product development. After that, we started also several actions. And the first wave, the first cycle, the 16, 17 cycle, was the ones that created the basis for the improvement on the R&D process. Is where we revitalized our C2C. C2C is our product development methodology, okay? When we started to use the concurrent engineer, early CapEx approach, improve our prototyping process, and together with the PLM governance, okay? And the same way also we started to run other improvements, especially about the project management academy, customer early involvement, and other ones. And every year we are from now on, from that moment on, based on PLM and also based on the other aspects that I have mentioned, we have started to run improvement cycles year by year. So each year we analyze our KPIs, we see what are the lessons learned we have on the implementation, and we rerun improvement cycle each year, based always on three very important pillars. The one is to have clear process, clear methodologies, guidelines, and so on. The second one is the improvement on the system and the tools. And the last one, and very important, is the change management and the training, to make sure that everybody understands why we are changing and training, and make sure that the people are engaged on the training. So that's the way to have the continuous improvement year by year, implementing all these three pillars, is the way that we consolidate the change, but also creates a mentality, a very strong mentality to make, okay, we need to raise the bar continuously, because the competition that we is there in the market, they don't allow us that we stop the improvement. This must be continuous. And the PLM from the tool perspective, it is supporting us to run that improvement. And it will not stop in 2019, and we are already seeing, okay, what are the cycle of 2020. We have already set up the priorities for 2020, and then right now we are continue that journey, okay? Here, that is more to illustrate how much of the PLM we are using. So as you can see in the chart, we almost are using all the components of PLM. So PLM was able to support our R&D process. And we are going to talk that later, but the idea is also not to stop the coverage of PLM inside the R&D, but also extending that connected to the other initiatives of the company. And we are thinking about that, and also going deeper in the current functionalities that we have, so to improve, to use more and more. We know that we took some time to implement the tools, to make sure that the same tool is implemented in all the sites and all the teams, and now is the time to, okay, let's use it more and more, the capabilities of each of the models. So there is already a long road down to us to use more and more, and to learn to use and extract more the capabilities of the PLM, not only R&D, but from in other areas of the company. Here, I want already to show some benefits that we are collecting from the PLM so far. And this is not only for PLM, but also is together with all the other actions of improvement, the plan that we have, as I already explained it before. But as you can see in the left side, there are a lot of points that we can already see the benefits coming from the PLM usage. So we can have, like, imagine it, as I said, we have 6 countries, 7 locations working sometimes at the same product, at the same project. So we have projects that are running in Brazil that is going to be deployed in Slovakia and the same time deployed in China and vice versa. And without the PLM, we were not to be able to have the governance of the platforms and subsystem. Like the other one, as Casado said, now we have a unified tool. In this way, we can have improve our communication and have a common language with the other areas of the company, like B&M, procurement, all of them working together in just one project environment. So that is working a lot. We're helping a lot. And then we have several other examples of benefits that we are already seeing in our process at Nidec. In the same way that is reflecting, and this is the most important, this is reflecting already on improvements on our main KPIs. This is not only for PLM, as I already mentioned. This is from the all set of improvements and changes that we are constantly implementing in the R&D. But as you can see, we are already being able to deliver more projects by year. So we more than double the project that we are executing. And those projects are being executed faster than the past, almost half of the time, consuming less resource. Okay, we are consuming right now less than saving more than 20% of our resources, and the most important, with the right quality. So we are almost for those ones that have the iron triangle for PMP, cost, time, and scope and quality. So we are being able to balance this in the project environment. And this is enough? For sure, this is not enough. As we have the strong competition in the market, especially do our specific business characteristic, we cannot stop there. We have to improve more and more and more to be more competitive, to deliver the product in the shorter period with the right quality, spending less. But I think with PLM we are in the right trend. At least we have the right foundation for the next waves of improvement that for sure we need as a company to do. Talking a little bit about the next steps, I will pass back to Casado, and Casado will explain a little bit what is going to be our next steps in our PLM journey.
Thank you, Gerson. I think it's important, before going to the next, I think it's important to highlight that this program and this journey has been a true partnership between R&D and information technology. And that wouldn't be impossible, and really being speaking frankly with you, impossible to advance without that partnership. So all these next steps here in the roadmap that we're having is a joint discussion and a joint agreement on both areas to make that happen. And also it's important to highlight that we're not talking anymore in the world about projects that we deliver and it's over. We're talking about now programs and journeys that are continuously improving and having better results for the user and for the business areas to be really advancing toward the best use of technology. So in this point, we're continuously in the journey. So that's why we, as mentioned, phased the program. So we're able to deliver some benefits and value to the company at some point that is measurable. Otherwise, it wouldn't be impossible to get funding. But we'll definitely continuously to advance together with the partner, that is PTC, because also products are evolving. So we are evolving together with the products to deliver a better solution to the end user. That's the main objective. So what we are seeing as next for us is the focus in four areas, broad areas. That is, first one is usability. So the idea is to make the interfacing and the usage of the system more intuitive, easier for the end user to learn and to catch up with the intricacies of the system. So that is one area. So we want to process, have a reduction on the time of the process. The specialist, the engineer using it in a better way, and having more, again, as I said, intuitive, straightforward interface for the technical person. We are also seeing opportunity to some decommission and also substitution of a few other legacy platforms we have. I mentioned here one Despro, but we have others. So is also targeted and aimed to simplification. The same benefits mainly is reduction of the process, the time, utilization of the engineer and the specialist, and mostly being able to reuse information on those legacy systems. The third area that we're going to be also focusing is being able to integrate more this information, this tool, with other areas. We call here business and marketing, but it's sales. They had sales area and the marketing area that is giving inputs and bringing inputs from the market. So we want that to be more integrated and more useful for them. And that's connecting with our strategy, broader digital strategy of data-driven company. So information will be reliable and available to all the company. And the fourth here is connecting this with a digital roadmap for operations. I mean here mainly operations is manufacturing. So how does this process of this PLM and this process will connect to the digital factory we're building, our efforts in IoT and AI that we are now experimenting and trying to make better and best use of it. So obviously this is just a sum up of a few areas we are tackling now to advance, but we are seeing those as the promising ones in the near medium term for the evolution of the system. That will be all. With that, I'll be passing, hope it was clarifying to you. I'll be passing that to Mark that will be talking a bit about PTC.
Thank you, Marcos and Gerson. That was really a great story, and we appreciated that you shared it with all of us. We at PTC are extremely excited to be on this journey with Nidec in truly a partnership fashion. I do want to echo something that, Marcos, you said at the beginning of this call regarding the difficult times we find ourselves in, both in our working and our kind of personal lives as well. And here at PTC, we sincerely hope that all of you, your employees and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy. While we think about these uncertain times, one aspect that really stands out is collaboration. And in the context of PLM, collaboration has always been one of the key business drivers. Collaboration between globally distributed design teams like the one we've seen at Nidec, which has been the foundation of their R&D project. But collaboration also extends outside of engineering. So bringing in the supply chain, design partners, other stakeholders in the value chain, including many non-expert users that just want to access the product information via role-based views into that data that makes it easier for them to perform the task at hand. The other key PLM driver that Marcos and Gerson touched on was governance and standardization globally. And this is really possible by building quality into the product and process throughout the life cycle. And for us here at PTC, when we think about it, we think about the PTC platform covering core quality management as part of a closed loop process. So this includes, robust configuration and change management, part of the adoption challenges that was spoken about. It also takes it further when we think about risk and reliability, managing non-conformances and CAPAs, complaint management, predictive analytics. is all part of closing that loop from the product back into engineering. So we look at PLM really helping that as well. And one other area that we think of from a PTC perspective in the digital thread is making product development information available to downstream consumers in the value chain. And as part of that, synchronizing the engineering and manufacturing activities really helps make the point of building the right products on the shop floor and in the factory. This, in our view, is concurrent manufacturing. And it's one of the big value drivers in implementing PLM as an enterprise system for innovation. And making this connection with an execution system like you have at SAP at Nidec or an MES system makes the digital factory all the more connected with PLM and helps to get additional value from IoT and AI and augmented reality techniques and technologies that are out there for making this whole value proposition really real. So again, enterprise PLM at PTC covers a whole breadth of things that are implemented at Nidec, and there's much more to encounter on this journey with PTC and Nidec. So thank you again. And with that, let me pass that back to Leah.
At this point of the webcast, we will now take the next few minutes to answer any questions you may have. We've seen quite a few come in, but again, if you'd like to ask the speakers a question, you may do so now. And if we don't get to your question, rest assured we will follow up with you directly. There are lots of great questions coming in. Let's start with this first one. Marcos and Shirsan, it looks like this one is for you. The first question is, how were you able to get approval and funding for this project?
Oh, I can start answering, Gerson, any compliment if you need, but I understand that the question is related to the overall approval and how the project was seen by the company. So we are not out of the world in this. So we are disputing and fighting for budgets. So definitely we were having to, at the beginning of the project, to convince the business and as a whole, even finance but other areas that this project was worth taking. So, well, was actually not a fight because it's not a fight, but was convincing and having a strategy that was, as I said, phased help and delivering some value at the beginning with a short term comparison with the length of the project was really important to get the approval from the whole organization in other areas to understand the benefit of it. So I would say that beginning was more reluctant and more difficult to convince and to go further, but later on the company was convinced by the need and other areas by consequence were more than convinced that would be a game changer for us and for the company, and we should be doing that. So I can tell that was at the beginning, as all big projects were difficult to convince and to be started, but later on when we were delivering results, I think was quite not saying easy because always not easy, but again we're talking about money all the time, so the competition for money, but was easier to have that have the opportunity or to have the support from the organization in that direction of the project. So
thank you. Our next question is, did you experience any challenges with implementation?
Well, yes, as you all can imagine, a project as big as this one has many challenges and technical ones that are typical, but the main one that I saw was the change management for the teams and the end users to start using the tool and start using the process that we are changing, the process that we are updating with the implementation of the tool. So took us a lot of effort, a big effort from the project team. We were following up closely to the end user globally, fostering the utilization, training, a very close follow-up with them. Otherwise, wouldn't be have been so successful this implementation as it was. I think Gerson can complement because he was closer than myself, but that's for me is the most challenging aspect of the project.
Yes, Casado. This is exactly change management is the key not only for the PLM but other kinds of implementation system process, and what brings more complexity is that we have decided to implement in the waves in all the plants. So the communication, the alignments that we had to have with all the teams were the key for the success. So having the teams working together, even physically, I can share the experience when we run the wave 3 and the wave 4, when we implement a more complex process. We took the decision first in the beginning of the project when we are defining each process. Each representative for each plant were together, being together at least for 3 weeks, making sure that everybody is understanding and is agreeing with what we are going to implement. And after that, during the implementation of each plant, we establish a decentralized support team. So we have people from the project, representatives from the project, each plant, and myself and the other program leader going plant by plant to see and to make sure that everybody is understanding, there is no doubt, how we are clarifying the problems and so on. So I think that was the biggest challenge we find out was the change management, and it was the key. But it's not simple. It's complex. It's something that you cannot minimize the impact of communicating properly. It's not a mail or a message that will change the mind of the people. We are face to face. You cannot give up of that.
Thank you. Our next question is, given the COVID-19 pandemic affecting many customers, how are other Windchill customers adapting to working from home? Marcos and Sherson, let's start with you.
Yeah, at Nidec, as we are in some countries that is being very impacted by the coronavirus, we are almost some of the sites are almost 2 months working from home offices. Right now, myself and Casado, we are in that moment in home office, and the surprise was that the PLM tool helped us a lot on that period to maintain the productivity of the teams, especially the teams of the engineering, because they can work for sure. There are a lot of technical aspect that the people has to work together with the product and so on. But despite of that, all the other activities and reviews and drawings and discussion and approvals, everything can be done remotely from home and in the same way in all the countries. So for sure, that is a difficult period, but have a unique tool, a common platform was a key to at least maintain how can I say, not a ideal productivity rate, but at least a reasonable productivity.
I just Casado speaking here, guys. Just a final comment on the question. I think it's for us is there's a saying that says that you're very lucky when you work, right? When you work hard. So we're not. I'm talking beyond the PLM solution. For us, I'm not saying that we're not having any disruption or any problem at all zero with going home or working from home, but we went really in a easy way, overall speaking, with all the systems and everything. So was for us was really, I'm hearing and seeing my colleagues, other CIOs complaining that we're suffering. That for us was quite of natural because we were working globally in a way that was connected collaboratively with other tools. So was really, again, I'm not saying that was 100% instantaneously, but was kind of not traumatic at all. Having to do that, I'm joking that will be difficult to go back to non no home office now because we're getting used to it. So commuting times are really better now when I'm working from home. So, but it's just complemented was an approach that is having these tools, robust ones, able to work remotely. All of them were enabling us to be really focusing on the business and healthy and safety of our people, and not worry about the technological aspects of it. That's really important in these moments of great incertitude.
Good question. Quite appropriate for the times, I should say. So typically, what we're seeing with other customers using Windchill is that there's really not been a huge impact on their connectivity to the Windchill systems, just due to the architecture. Many of the design teams are got used to working from home, connecting through VPN, and using different technologies that have been in place for working from home. It obviously this is a much bigger scale than just working from home, but I would say that we're seeing companies use many of the different tools in the Windchill suite as well to be more effective for running collaboration, design reviews, and also looking at cloud offerings as well, where they're not on premise. So those are a few things that have come to mind.
We'll take one more question at this time. Our final question for today is, we are currently using Windchill for managing our Creo designs and some product documentation. We'd like to expand our usage of Windchill to help us on a company-wide component/hardware standardization initiative to reduce product complexity and costs. Any guidance for us?
Yeah, I think we can. I can answer this one. This is Gerson. This is one of that was and still be one of the challenges for Nidec engineering department, but it's also for all of them. So first is to making sure that the point is, do you have a platform, let's say the platform, a system platform that you are able to see exactly what are to see and to search and to manage what are the products that you have. And I say to product, not only the finished goods, but also all the components and the revenue. So you have to have the right classification and the right determination of all the components that you have to then to create that big data, let's say in this way, together with a process of governance. Because otherwise you are going to work and standardize your products, but if you don't have a governance in place, 1-2 years down the road, you are going to face again the same problem. So there is no miracle of that. So first one is make sure you create the right database with the right classification and so on. And the second is make sure that you create the governance and create the roles and responsibilities inside the team of R&D team to manage that governance. I think that is the tips that I can give.
This is Mark. I couldn't agree more, Jason, on kind of the approach that you laid out. We've seen similar approaches from other companies implementing PLM along the journey. Is really about spending the time in doing the classification of your standard components. And it goes across the board. It's also standardizing hardware components, even looking at electronic components, looking at supply chain that's providing those, integrating with systems, third-party systems that provide standardized library components. But then the key is the governance to make sure that people follow the process through. And that involves adoption, it involves training, and constant re-education on how people are benefiting from making these decisions of reusing components. And there's a direct cost on quality, cost of goods sold, and everyone's aware of how this is impacting the business, both from an IT point of view and also from a business point of view. So pretty much, I think what you're describing is what we're seeing in many customers.